Good afternoon. This is meteorologist Ted Keller. It's a fantastic spring Sunday afternoon, and you might have noticed that Springfield is on the eastern edge now of a severe thunderstorm watch area. I was outlining this in the blog this morning, and it's actually a little more south than I thought it might be, and eventually many of these storms may end up heading to the northern edge of what you see outlined here. But the yellow outline is the severe thunderstorm watch area put up by the Weather Service for southeast Kansas and a chunk of southwest and western Missouri, and does include Springfield. And the storm, the only storm really going on right now, I mean, it's getting quite impressive looking, is this white anvil top you see here on the visible satellite image. This is being recorded at about 2:30 in the afternoon. Let's turn the radar on and see that storm right there. And zoom in on it a little bit. It's a hail producer, likely. It's actually developing a little bit of a hooking structure. I'll take a closer look at that with the high-res digital radar here in a minute. But that is the first of what I think are a couple of storms that will develop. We'll put this into motion here, and you can watch the development of that shower and thunderstorm area. And it went just south of Wichita, as you can see there. It's actually turned a little bit to the right with the last couple of images there. That's a sign that it's bucking the flow a little bit, becoming its own entity and making its own path a little bit. So usually a sign of a supercell thunderstorm, one that's turning to the right, as most of those do in this hemisphere anyway. And so we're looking at that, and probably more development in and along that east-west watch area, which pops up there, of course, toward the end of the loop. And let's go to the end of the loop there, and that's the visible satellite image. We'll turn that off here for a second and turn on some other things. Let's not fill in the watch area and just leave it as an outline. And now let's take a look at some of the features here. Now this is how unstable the atmosphere is. The key is on the left, something called surface-based CAPE. And so you see a few pockets here in the southern half of this that are approaching over 2,000 in CAPE, maybe as much as 3 in a few pockets. Pretty unstable air for this time of year. It's amazing what April can produce in terms of afternoon heating. And you put a little moisture in there, dew points have been going up, and you get somewhat volatile situation. Now, the overall wind field is still a little weak. That's why the tornado threat is not there. It's not to say, however, you can't get a tornadic storm in a severe thunderstorm watch, as you should be aware of, certainly. And, you know, that storm that we're looking at there, and I'll look at in detail here in a second, you know, it's a possible contender. There's always an isolated chance of a tornado with this type of situation, especially when you have unstable air. And this is basically riding up into this area like this. That's what's going to keep this storm and maybe some others that form on the northern edge of that orange area going here for the next several hours. Let's take a look at the high-res radar here out of Wichita. You can see there's a current warning in effect for that storm. There's the bulletin of it right there, warning remaining in effect. And it looks like they're still looking for this primarily to be golf ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind threats here. The main thing is that they're worried about with that storm at the present time. Hey, I didn't mean to make that go away. Hang on a second. Let's zoom in a little bit more on that. And that's the, there we go. And you can see the severe thunderstorm warning and maybe a little bit of rotation going on with this storm. That's what this is right here. However, just by looking at it, it looks like the outflow from this has kind of taken over a little bit, so we may have cut off any circulation that may develop with this. Anyway, we'll keep watching that and other developments here this afternoon. Again, the main threat area for the next few hours in Missouri is really not much, and then let's give it another 2 hours. We might get themselves close to the western border of Missouri in this area. And if these ever do get to Springfield, it would be a while. It would be maybe at dark or even after dark, I think, before we see that activity. I'll be watching it carefully this afternoon and bring you more updates as appropriate.